Welcome back to the channel, DRSN here. In today's video, I'm sharing essential budgeting tips to help you break the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. Financial stability is tough, and true financial freedom is rare but completely possible. I hope you take away something valuable from today's video. But let's dive in. But before we dive in, the concepts, examples, and the notes that come from the slides are from this book, How to Adult by Jake Cassini. Let's start off with basic terms. So what's budgeting? Budgeting is creating a detailed and effective spending plan based on your income and expenses. So you're essentially monitoring your money and seeing where it goes. So you need discipline and organization for that. So what's price versus value? Price is like the dollar amount you spend on a good or product or service. So that's simple. But value is how much will that purchase benefit? How much will it benefit you? How badly do you want it? How badly you desire it? Is it a necessity or is it more of a luxury? So in terms of cheap means like pretty much means that you only care about getting the lowest price possible. You don't want to pay a lot. You always want to pay the cheapest price. Frugal is what you should do. You shouldn't be cheap, but you should be frugal, which is get the most value from each purchase, not just the lowest price. So I'll give an example where I was being cheap in IRL and I wasn't being frugal, so I bought used controllers. I wasn't willing to spend used PS4 controllers in the late 2010s. I didn't want to pay I paid $50 for a pre-owned one. I didn't want to pay $60 for a new controller. So when I got the pre-owned controller, it worked, but after 7 months, it got stick drift. So the joysticks of the controller stopped working. And if I purchased the more expensive controller, the newer one in better condition, even though I spent $10 more, that newer controller would have lasted me longer. So it's not always about getting the cheapest thing. That's not always a good thing. So 3 biggest budget killers that kill your budget is housing, so your rent or your mortgage, transportation, so you drive a car, you pay monthly payments to borrow the car, so that's interest, plus your car insurance. But if you don't have a car, then you could have train or bus fares, train or bus fare fees. In terms of food, you could dine outside or you could have food from inside. In terms of housing though, when you look at apartment, let's say one apartment is $1,200 and a second apartment is $1,500. Even though the second apartment is more dope, let's say, you have to consider the $300 extra, because $300 extra per month, it adds up to $3,600 yearly paying if you want to go with apartment 2, the more expensive option. So do you value that? Do you value the apartment 2? How much do you really want it? So price versus value here. In terms of transportation, I constantly see people on social media or on IRL like buying new cars. And I'm thinking like, how are they paying it off? How are they paying off the car with their insurance plus interest? Isn't that burning their wallet or their bank accounts? But buying a new car is not really worth it. If you don't have the money, if you have a low budget, buying a new car is more of a status symbol, because a vehicle is a depreciating asset, so each year the model gets old, its value drops. In terms of food, the younger people like to eat outside almost every day. The average American eats outside 6 times a week, and the average price for dining outside is $13 versus the average price to eat at home, make a pre-made meal at home, it's $4. So that $9 difference eventually adds up. So you spend $220 more if you just go outside. If you eat outside 6 times a week. So consider, like, to save money, just consider eating at home rather than eating outside, because that's expensive. Eat into your expenses. So let's talk about making a budget strategy. The 50-30-20 rules. 50% goes to your needs, like paying your rent off, paying your bills, paying food, you need that, paying your insurance, whether it's health insurance, eye insurance, or your car insurance. 30% goes to your desires, so entertainment like Netflix subscriptions, going out on concerts, or going out on events, other fun, like, so those are other fun lifestyles. 20% goes to your debt, or like savings, so 20% go to your, like, if you have student loans, 401k, retirement plan, or investments in terms of mutual funds or stocks. Critics about this 50-30 rule say that it's not structured, which is a fair point. Like, it could be vague, but it's helpful to you if you know where you're going to overspend. You don't want to overspend in one of these categories. So if you spend 60% not in needs, because let's say your rent increased, make sure your wants decreases, so you lower your spendings on your desires. So if you overspend in one category, pretty much you need to underspend in other categories to balance it out. So here are budgeting advice and tips to not live paycheck to paycheck, but make your life more easier. So I have an emergency fund, so you never know, an emergency happens in real life, like COVID-19, the stock market crash, or economic recession. You might need money in your hand, so have an emergency fund just in case for that. You could make budgeting easier by having more money, so you could do side hustles, ask your boss for a higher raise if you believe you deserve it. You could even do a part-time job. More money does not mean to more spending. So when one advantage of being broke, or when you're young or you're poor, you're adapting to living on a small budget, you're adapting to live on a small income. But as you get older, you get more money, so your budgeting window, your budgeting increases. But that doesn't mean you should also increase your spending. If, for example, if your salary increases by $500, you don't want to spend all that $500 on your desires or your wants. Maybe some of that $500 that you now increased, maybe put that towards your retirement, put that towards your savings, so you'll live a good life when you're 50 or 60 years old. Maybe put it towards investments like mutual funds or stocks. And you could track your budget using apps like for example, like, there's an app called Pocket Guard. It's pretty good. You can use website calculators where they'll give you put your you put your yearly salary in your tax bracket, and they'll show you how much money you make after taxes are deducted. So that's actually your income. That's to where you can start. Spreadsheet tools, you could use Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. Microsoft Excel requires a subscription, so Google Sheets is more free. You just need a Google account. I'm gonna now give you a good bad budgeting example and a good one. So let's assume this person, she bought a expensive apartment. She has a new car too. This person, she bought a new car. So the monthly after her taxes, her monthly income is $4,980. There's already a lot of problems I see here, and that her rent is 42% of her income, which is bad. You want to lower that. Maybe consider having a roommate to reduce your rent. Transportation, is also so I'll go back to the rent, but you should look for like a 15. This person should look for $1,500 on rent. She's spending more than 10% of her income. Let's go back to transportation. So she's spending more than 10% of her income on transportation. That's $750, which is not good. In terms of miscellaneous, so $500 on miscellaneous or random expenses. She needs to track down her expenses, whoever this person is. You could use you should control your random spendings. Gym membership is, I believe, overpriced. So these are all monthly expenses. For gym membership, you're spending $180 for a premium gym. You'd rather just go to Planet Fitness or go to so it'll be cheaper. And she's paying the minimum for student debt. So if you watched my interest video, you should know that you put less money you pay on your student loans, the less the monthly payment is, the more longer it's going to take to finish off the loan. Let's go to a good example. So we have the monthly income after taxes is the same, but you see the rent and the transportation is $1,300 less. So this person is saving on the rent. In this example in the textbook, this person has a roommate, so it's smart. In terms of transportation, I think they have a used car on a good mileage, so the transportation is low. Even though the criticism here is they're spending $800 on like entertainment, so they're probably enjoying their weekends too much. But spending $1,300 less on housing and transportation allows the $800 for entertainment, so that this person enjoying his or her youth. And the gym membership is $40, which is much cheaper. This person is also putting more money in their savings environment, so the future is better. Student debt, they're paying more, but because of interest, this person will finish off their student loan in a quick amount of time. So that's about it. The only criticism I have is entertainment. So when you make a budget, you want to track your income and expenses. That would be my advice. Like, a lot of people don't even look into this. Here's key takeaways. So you do need a detailed budget to track every dollar you make and spend. Don't assume you know how much money you're spending on things. It's good to write everything down, so have discipline and organization. So housing, transportation, and food are the 3 biggest budget killers. Make sure you are not overspending in these categories, because these items are often so expensive. One misstep in these categories can throw your whole budget off. There are plenty of budget apps out there. I'll recommend using a spreadsheet tool. So use one that that you're used to. Do not spend money as your income goes up. As you make more money, make sure you put it towards your future self. So that's a good advice. Just save if you're saving for a home or for your retirement, so your 401k, paying off your debts, your student loan. You can put it towards your investments. So we said in the 30% wants, don't increase that 30% if you're going to use the 50-30-20 rule. You should have an emergency fund. You never know when you're going to need the money for an unexpected expense. Emergency can happen, like COVID-19. The easiest way to improve your budget is with more money, so do whatever you can to earn a little extra income. It could be a little bit. At least you earn extra, and then the more money you earn, the more bigger your budget is. You could ask for a promotion, ask for a raise, do a side hustle, do have 2 jobs, but that's about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching.